Hello.
How are you guys?
Well, we're probably toasty warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very sunny and it's very humid here.
Yes, same here. Same here.
Yeah.
It was about 80 degrees yesterday, and it got down to it almost hit, I think it was like 62 last night, which we haven't been that low in a while.
Yeah.
And today it's supposed to be about 85. And no humidity.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about. Well, Matt, I had a funny question today. Somebody who is a Facebook friend who knows me, but I don't see her a lot. She wanted to know, she said, who is that Matt guy and why are you always eating with him?
Oh, we haven't eaten together in almost 2 years, Stevie.
I know. Maybe she's a slow reader.
Maybe. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. But I thought that was a pretty funny question. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting
so
excited.
We have two great guests lined up today, don't we?
Yes, really, really great.
Yeah. So we have.
First,
I'm sorry. We have Sue Hines, and she's going to talk about her classes at Road in Person in 2022. And we have Carla from Cherrywood Fabrics, and she's going to talk to us all about Cherrywood.
Oh, it'll be exciting and challenges. And I don't know, Linda, do you think we're going to be able to get her to spill the beans? I'm not so certain we will, but we'll keep trying.
Oh, you mean for the next challenge?
Yeah. I can be very persuasive.
Yeah, we have friends that might exert some pressure. Maybe.
Maybe she should do Matt and Stevie eat blank.
Or a Basset Hound. We should do a Basset Hound theme challenge.
Oh, you're trying to get everybody to do Basset Hounds.
I love my Basset Hound, thank you. All right, well, Jillian, let's bring Carla on. Hey, Carla.
Hello.
How's it going out there?
It's going pretty good. We finally broke the heat spell that we've had, so we're actually looking like autumn is actually right around the corner.
Now, where exactly are you?
I'm in Brainerd, Minnesota. Actually, it's Brainerd-Baxter, Minnesota, so we're right in the middle of the state. We're probably 2.5 hours north of Minneapolis, northwest. So we're right in the heart of lakes area, resorts and fishing and golfing and Brainerd International Raceway. So lots going on here.
Awesome.
How do you get anything done with all those cool things?
Well, I don't get to do any of those things. Other people do. I do a little kayaking. My husband does a lot of fishing. So we love it here.
Sounds great.
Yeah. We get a lot of, I take my inspiration from nature for these colors. So I'm coming up with gradations of color for our product. Everything's hand dyed right here in the studio. And all I have to do is look out my window and see, all sorts of things that give me ideas for colors. So we produce all this fabric right here in our studio, which is not real big, but I have myself and 6 other ladies, and we dye a little every day. So we
That's it.
Go ahead.
That's really neat.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that we make it ourselves. So if you hear somebody talking about Cherrywood hand-dyed fabric, it is not commercial. It doesn't come off a bolt. It actually comes in bundles like this. So this is what we're famous for. And it is, we call it the suede look because it's not just flat color. It's got a lot of tone on tone variations. This is a good one here that kind of shows you that it's not just flat color and the color is saturated. So we go through a ton of dye because we want to get these colors really saturated. There's no right or wrong side. So I will decide that I want a bundle that goes from this blue violet to a red violet. And then I formulate the colors in between so that I get a nice smooth gradation. So when you pick up a bundle of fabric from Cherrywood, you've got the start to the project, and you don't have to put as much thinking into picking your colors because we've already picked them for you.
Do you keep a recipe book? Like,
I do. Yep. I have formulas just like recipes. So I'm actually, I did not start Cherrywood. We've been around over 30 years now. And I've been owner for 20 years, which is hard to believe. But the woman who did start Cherrywood, her name was Dawn. And she kept recipes, is just like baking. And I'm still using some of her recipes from way back when, just kind of tweaking them as we go, because dye lots will change in fabric, but they'll also change in the dye. And I'm using a Procyon powdered dye. So we buy it by the pound. And every time I order dye, that's going to be a little bit different dye lot. So
so how many yards of fabric of like a certain color would you dye in one shot?
we dye, we have the capacity now to dye 200 yards a day. So we've got a facility here that has multiple machines. We're actually using washing machines, top loading washing machines. So we can go through the cycle twice in a day if we need to, but usually we do one a day. And we also have, not only do we have our crew here doing the dyeing and running the business, but we also have a couple of women who work from home, and they are responsible for taking the fabric after it's dyed and washed and rinsed. And they take it home and press it and inspect it and fold it and bundle it and label it and bring it back in these beautiful collections that we're famous for. So they are responsible for the look of Cherrywood, and they're inspecting every single piece. So they're the only ones that get to see both the front and back side of every single piece of fabric that we dye. They are using a mangle, which is a rotary iron, and they used to make mangles inside of a large piece of furniture. So some of you may remember using one, or your mom or grandmother using one, and it's the roller spins and it clamps down and heats and presses at the same time. We're using a more modern version of that, but it still is a mangle to press every single piece. So they have the opportunity to see if there's any little specks of dye that didn't dissolve, if that gorgeous suede texture doesn't come out evenly and is maybe blotchy or kind of tie-dye. They will pull that aside because that doesn't make the cut. So we're not looking for a tie-dye kind of look. I know a lot of people, especially outside of the quilting industry, when I tell them what I do for a living, they're like, oh, I love tie-dye. Well, they're thinking of the patterns and the swirls, and we are going for just solid color. So we're all about letting the color do the work and getting these really interesting collections of colors that will make your quilt and your clothing and whatever project you use it for really come alive and be unique.
Do you like do maybe a blue day and a red day and a yellow day, or you have a structure?
Not necessarily. We kind of just dye what is needed. Right now we're excited to finally get back on the road, so we're kind of stocking up to see to make sure we have enough to bring to Quilt Show. But we actually spent a lot of time over COVID looking at our entire system and our inventory system and figuring out what to dye when and really changing a lot of things. So we have been very busy, even though we haven't been on the road, and keeping track of our inventory so we can be more efficient and know when I need to dye red and know when I need to dye yellow. But our biggest news was that in getting organized like that, we used to offer 40 yardage colors. So we've always offered the bundles, but usually if a customer wanted this particular color here, we would just call it step number 3 from the Violet Midley gradation. Well, now we have the capacity where you can buy any of our colors within a bundle as an individual. So for instance, maybe you're making a quilt from this Texas Ranch bundle, but you need more of this green because you're going to use it for borders and you need 2 yards, but the rest of them you only need 1 yard. And maybe this one you just need a fat quarter. So now that means that we went from 40 individual colors and we bumped it up to 200. So that was a huge change and a huge a way to answer a lot of customers' requests is I want just this particular color. And also I want maybe just a fat quarter of it. So we've revamped our whole website. And so people can pick the different sizes and different colors that they need and kind of build their own collection. So like here I have, these are individual fat quarters, and you can pick and choose now and kind of put your own bundles together.
So you're going to be vending at Road to California.
Yes, we have been vending there for years. I don't know how many years, Matt, but many years.
If you asked me, I couldn't tell you.
You know, it's been a long time.
Yes.
And we are also, we're going to have a lot of those new colors, hopefully all the new colors. We even have some lighter colors. Sorry, got tickle in my throat. That's another thing that we've been busy doing. Cherrywood is really known for these dark colors, but customers have been asking for lighter colors, brighter colors. You know, you need lights, mediums, and darks to get some nice contrast in your quilts. So we have this new line that I haven't even officially launched, so you guys are kind of getting a preview. Really soft, light colors. And the base of this line of fabrics, I'm calling it the Beach Collection. This is dyed on a white muslin, whereas everything else that I showed you and that we're known for is on an unbleached muslin. So unbleached muslin has a kind of a creamy color to it. So for instance, if I wanted to get a really light pink, like really light pink, and if I dyed that on unbleached muslin, that very subtle yellowish cream color would turn the fabric peachy. So in order to get a nice clear pink, I needed to start with white. So that was the inspiration behind all of these soft colors. And they're all named for beachy things. Like I was thinking of all the like ice cream flavors, and there's barnacle and there's sunshine and different kind of fruit names. So I really have fun naming the colors. That's my favorite part.
So if I was, oh, I have a echo. Is that me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's you.
Oh. If I was going to walk into your booth at Road to California, what would I see?
You would see tons of quilts on the wall, like behind me. You would see that you could get kits of those quilts with the pattern and the fabric needed already to go. You would also see helpful people who would help you say, you know what, I like that quilt, but I'm really not a blue person. I'd really like to do it in red. And then we would help you, because we know the recipe, we could change it to be red, because a lot of our kits take a bundle of this and a bundle of that, and boom, you have something ready for a kit. So that means it's easy. If you say, I don't like these purples, we just exchange it with another bundle. So our customer service is ready to help you kind of build your own collection. And just these bundles are so fun, because even like looking at them on screen, even the order that you put the colors together makes a difference in what color changes. So now I've just expanded this gradation from orange to turquoise, and I'm going into the blue violet, and it keeps going and going. So it's really fun to play with the bundles. But you're also going to see all of these individual colors in different cuts, smaller cuts, 1 yard cuts, half yard cuts, fat quarter cuts. And then not in our booth, but in the show, you will get to see the entire collection of the Diana Cherrywood Challenge, which is going to be amazing. We're we're putting together the banners that they hang on. We're doing that right now as we speak. And I don't know if you guys want a sneak peek of a couple of them.
Sure.
I don't know if people would be interested, but I'm sure they would be. So the idea of a challenge is to give people a set of rules and then see what they can come up with. So the Cherrywood challenge has been very simple as far as the rules. I'm using basically one color, one size, and one theme, and then of course one fabric line, which is Cherrywood hand-dyed fabric. So we started, in 2014, and we had Wicked on Broadway, and then we had Lion King on Broadway, then we had Van Gogh, which was blues, a lot of blues like these blues here. And what people do is they buy the specific collection of colors that I dyed just for the challenge, and then they have about 9 months to come up with just a 20-inch square quilt to see what they can do with it. And then we have gotten such a huge response that we can't possibly keep them all. So we have a jury process and we get it into a manageable amount. And that's usually somewhere around 200 it's ended up being. We kind of, every year is a little bit different because of different circumstances. And then they go on the road. And Road to California is one of the very first stops that we premiere all these quilts. And if you haven't seen them, it's hard to miss them in the show because you kind of come around the corner and you're like bombarded with walls and walls of that particular color. The prints exhibit was all purples, and being from Minnesota, of course, we had to do prints. And they just look fantastic at the Road to California with the big high ceilings, and you can stand back and look at all these quilts that are same size, same color, but all so individual on their own. So the most current, the Diana challenge, last year we did the Bob Ross challenge, and we were chatting earlier that was kind of a, some people weren't quite sure about that one, but it turned out amazing. And that one was a little bit different because instead of just basically one color, we did 8 colors, and they were kind of represented the 8 colors that Bob used a lot in painting. And still, it was a very cohesive, beautiful collection. And then this year is Diana, Princess Diana, and I chose 3 shades of pink and a white, whereas before we would always put black or a dark color. We featured the white in the Princess Challenge because a lot to do with because of who she was. She was a lighter kind of persona, one of the most famous women in our time. And again, the quilts are just 20 inches square. So I have one here, and I gotta make sure that I get it upright.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that gorgeous? So this quilt is by Vicki Bedell, and I believe Vicki is watching today, or she was going to watch today. So let me come closer to show you. Those are all Swarovski crystals.
Wow.
And just the
Workmanship is incredible.
And just, yeah, look how much is happening in just a 20-inch square space. So she just used those 4 colors that were in the bundle. Now, there's been years where we have allowed people to use other colors, but what we really want is for the whole quilt to be Cherrywood, because that's really what's holding the whole exhibit together, is that suede look of Cherrywood. And well, there's Vicki. Hi, Vicki. I just love this one. And she used different sizes of crystals. So it really looks like dew on the rose petals.
So the entrants really get to interpret Diana as they could have done a portrait or, anything really that would represent the theme of the challenge.
Right. Yeah, we give them basically a 1-word challenge or a 1 person. And obviously I don't stick with a person, and I kind of like to shake it up. But but then the interpretation is wide open. So I don't want people to be squelched by any other kind of rules, or, I don't want to give them steer them any direction. I want them to go their own directions and see what they can do. And so many people that I've met over the years, or have in their artist statements, have said things like, well, I didn't even think of myself as an artist, or I've never even designed a quilt without a pattern. And these are all original pieces of art. They start with just an idea. They may sketch it out. They push themselves. So you get people who maybe have always followed a pattern or been a traditional quilter, and now they are pushing themselves to do a portrait, or do thread painting, try a different technique. Taking all these classes from these fabulous teachers, we learn these little nuggets, and now we can take those little nuggets and turn them into something our very own.
Oh, look at that.
Have fun. So this one is a good example of thread painting. People quilt very intensely or very simply. And, that is not necessarily going to get you into the challenge or not. It's visual impact. I don't judge these myself. I have a panel of 3 judges who go through, and they will look at the first round of judging, which is digital. Unfortunately, they can't look at every single one in person, but they look at the design and the impact, and then they move towards like the workmanship, and is it really 20 inches square? Is it completely cherrywood? Did they throw out a different fabric in there? So we're trying to keep the rules simple enough where it's it may feel like really hard to do as an artist to only work with 4 colors, but once you kind of let yourself go and say, you know what, Diana's skin wasn't pink, that's okay, we're going to make it pink. And it kind of flips something in your head, like, I'm making this, I can do whatever I want. I can make it whatever color I want. And I can show off that quilting class and the stitches and handwork that I learned from taking classes at Road to California, right?
Exactly. No, it's wonderful. So you're not going to tell us what the next challenge is, I would assume, correct?
I can't. I got to make a big announcement.
Okay. Will you at least tell us what the color might be?
No.
Oh, come on.
Nope. That's a secret too. You got to build up suspense. Yeah.
Well, I tried. At least I tried. I gave it the college try.
Yeah. Look for that announcement around October 1st. That is my goal, to announce on October 1st. And then you can either jump on board and get the fabric sent to you right away if you want to get started, or I will have tons of those bundles of fabric at the booth at Road to California, so you can see the colors and get started then. But the due date will be May 1st. So a lot of people like to work under pressure, and you won't believe how many people submit their quilt 5 minutes before the deadline.
Oh yes.
Actually, you probably would.
We always panic because of the number of entries. Jillian was actually having a conversation with me earlier today, and I said, "Oh, calm down. A week before the entry due date, we'll get about 300-400 entries flying in."
Yep, that's how the Cherrywood Challenge happens too. So I've decided I'm not going to make the entry deadline at midnight anymore, because Diana, the entry deadline was delayed because of COVID. It was supposed to be due in the summer of 2020. So we pushed it back to the end of the year, but I made the deadline at December 31st at midnight. So that was my New Year's party for myself, was sitting in front of the computer and helping people submit. And yeah, lesson learned. I won't do that again.
We used to register people starting at midnight. That was not a good idea.
Yeah. We learn. We do this to ourselves. So we learn as we go, and we change.
Right. Exactly. We adjust and adapt, and and move on. So no, this is great. This is exciting. We're so happy to have you back at the show. I think Jillian has posted in there if anybody has any questions, throw them in the comments.
We did get a
trying to
question
pick.
before.
Do you have a
yeah, there we
favorite
go.
color or color combination?
My favorite color is lime green. I think of lime green as a neutral, and my kind of green changes every day. So I like any lime greens in here. And my second favorite color is the purple, usually red, violet, and the combination of green and purple together. So I love every color. There's certain colors I kind of joke that I have an aversion to, and they're a little bit harder for me to dye because I don't necessarily love them. But every color has a home at Cherrywood, and every color is appreciated.
So I think real quick, Jillian, let's play the video without sound that we have to kind of go through the colors. So I think that'd be really cool for everyone to see all the colors you have there.
Yeah, this is a video of a pan around our inventory space. And we've got it set up in rainbow from reds to red oranges to oranges to yellow, and it goes all the way around the room. So there you can see that we dye our fabric in 2-yard pieces. So some of you may have noticed, like if you want to get 3 yards of Cherrywood, we will take pieces from the same dye lot, and that's what those chunks hanging over those racks, and they'll come from the same dye lot, but our technique involves, because we don't want that tie-dye look, we want to start with a 2-yard piece so that we can get that suede texture to come out evenly. So, and then down below we have the smaller cuts already ready to go and labeled, and that's another huge step for us, is to put the color names on every single piece of fabric. Wow. So when you buy a piece and you get it home and you're looking in your stash and you want more, you know what it is.
Have you ever considered teaching fabric dyeing?
You know, not fabric dyeing. I'm going to keep my secrets for myself, but yeah, I like to teach color theory and how to use color in fabrics, and especially Cherrywood, obviously. But so far, we're going to keep the dyeing process close to our vest.
Good idea. All right, well, Carla, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Joining us and educating us about Cherrywood. This was enlightening. This was really great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Absolutely. All right, Jillian. So next up, Stevie and Linda are going to interview Sue Hines. And Sue is one of our faculty members from this upcoming show. What?
6 classes.
She is teaching 6 classes. Jillian was telling me 6, and I didn't pick up on that. And they are long arm drawing classes. And you might be thinking to yourself, why would I take a long arm drawing class when Rhode offers hands-on long arm classes? And that is the answer, the question that they are going to answer with Sue. So go ahead, Jillian.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
So Matt has put out that question for you. Why take a long arm drawing? Well, long arm drawing class sounds like you're drawing with a long arm, and that's not exactly accurate.
My arms are short.
That's right. Yeah, the T-Rex.
Well, it's a great question. And first of all, thanks for having me on the show and part of this year's show. I'm just extremely honored. So thank you. Yeah, I'm a little different amongst the teachers that teach free motion quilting, in that I absolutely love to teach drawing classes. Why? Well, I think there's actually 3 reasons. The first reason is everyone is welcome. Whether you sew on a domestic machine, a mid, a long, all you need is a needle that goes up and down, right? To free motion quilt. So everybody is welcome. And well, that's a long arm class, and I'm a domestic free motion quilter, so I can't go to that class. Wrong. everybody can join in on the fun. The second reason is I firmly believe, after 30 years of free motion quilting, that you learn the designs faster if you draw them out, kind of like driving a car. If you know where you're going before you get behind the wheel, driving is a whole lot easier. So same thing with free motion quilting. And the third reason, perhaps it's a little, I don't know, I can get in more teaching time. So it's a plus for me. Rather than have students trying out the machines, I can be teaching them more designs. So you go home certainly with a notebook full of designs when you take a drawing class. Some people have said, though, oh, I can't imagine drawing for 8 hours. And I go, you'd be surprised. People normally at the end of the class going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that 8 hours have flown past. So don't let that worry you. And the other question that I get is, I am not an artist. I can do anything with thread and a needle, but to draw, no, not even a straight line. Well, you might be correct. But in my years of teaching, I've only met 1 or 2 people that really cannot draw a straight line. Everyone else rises to the challenge. And this is not fine art. This is doodling. So I say to people, anytime, or if you've ever been a kid with a crayon in your hand and experienced the joy of that combination, you'll do very well in any drawing class.
Well, didn't you develop some special tools, though, to help with this drawing?
Well, I have, yes. Thanks for
Yes.
asking. Yeah, they're even patented, so they're very unique tools. And they came just as a result of what I personally needed. Like I was needing to draw circles, not to sew, but as a armature for free motion quilting. And compasses just weren't making the cut. I didn't want to draw using graphite, and I wanted 1/8-inch increments and accurate. So hence the tools were born. So I have one tool that divides 90 different circles into 1/8-inch increments and divides those into even numbers, halves, quarters, eighths, and sixteenths. And we'll play with these in class. And then another set of tools, I'm kind of have a math aversion. So I didn't want to use anything that I failed at in 3rd grade. So when you want to divide a circle into odd increments, like 7s or 9s or something, we have tools for that. Takes all the math out of it, and they're fast and accurate.
That sounds terrific. Jenny Ray Park says, where can I find out more about your classes and tools? Well, I think your website is scrolling underneath us right now on the screen, but you can also look at the Road to California website and see the classes that Sue is teaching there. How many did they say? 8? Is that what you're doing?
6.
6
full day classes every day of road. I'm teaching. And what's
but
wonderful
those are
is
6-hour classes, not 8 hours classes.
Oh, well, they're full day.
Yes.
And my classroom will be on the 2nd floor of the convention center, so you can shop very easily and check out the wonderful vendors over lunch hour, and then come back up and get another dose of free motion quilting.
Yes. So how did you get started doing this? I mean, were you a long armor or a domestic machine quilter, or how did you get started?
How did I get started? It was okay. I say to people that who are rank beginners, I understand where you came from. I knew nothing about sewing, nothing about anything, but my mother was a very accomplished garment sewer, and she pretty much outfitted me all the way through 30 years old, and then she suddenly passed away. And so I started quilting, now that I look back on it, as an homage to her, to help me feel a little closer to her. But in my first quilting class, and this was in the mid 80s, where we did everything by hand, I didn't know what a selvage was. So that's where I started. And it's, I don't know, garment sewing, I'm still a little bit afraid of armholes and zippers, but I thought in quilting, well, it's flat. I can do flat, you know. Little to know now how hard it is to get something totally flat. But anyway, that's how I started.
So you must have gone on from your all hands and probably the cereal box templates.
Yes.
Did you start out quilting on a domestic machine? Or?
Absolutely, because no one told me I couldn't, and I wanted to finish my quilts. I also taught myself there. I took one class, and that was it. The rest of what I do is very much self-taught, and I wanted to finish. So I would play while my children napped. Now that I think about it, it's like, oh my goodness, how in the heck did I do that? But and then I just free motion quilted and figured it out.
Oh, that's fantastic. Did you go on to a long arm, or did you stay with the domestic machine?
Well, actually, today I do both.
Okay.
I got my, I've gone through many free motion or many domestic machines. And recently, well, 12 years ago, I got my long arm. And then just a month ago, I became a handy quilter ambassador.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, it's wonderful. I'm thrilled. So now I have a long arm with a computer on it. So I'm learning that. And I also got a sit down capri.
Yes.
Never too old to learn.
Yes, and that's always good information for Stevie Graves to have too, because we're always looking for teachers on both of those machines. Yes, yeah. So go ahead, Linda.
Do we have some samples that you could show us from your classes?
Well, actually, I did my best to get a second camera working, and I couldn't make it work. So what we have are pictures of some of the quilts from my classes, and we can view those, go through those. How does that be?
That'd be great.
Wonderful. All right, so the first class that I'm teaching is caffeinated quilting. And this is a brand new book for me. It was just launched last October, so during COVID. And it is why caffeinated, why that word. It's all based on it started off with a leaf shape. And I thought, well, all right, what are leaf shapes? Well, tea leaves, coffee leaves, that type of thing. And then I went, oh, coffee. Okay. Well, then I can have swirl shapes and then coffee beans. So the whole book is, the premise is 3 different shapes. So a leaf shape, a swirl, like the aromatic, waft coming off your favorite mug. Yes. And then the third is pebble shapes in the shapes of, circles, but coffee beans.
Right.
So this collection of over 65 different shapes. And Jillian, if you could get that other 2 up for me, I'd appreciate it.
Jillian.
There you go. This shows the diversity of the patterns that we're going to be going through in class. The one on your left shows a swirl combined with a leaf, and that is called Cafe Crema. And then the picture on the right still has that leaf shape in it, but wow, does it ever look different? So it's a combination of feathers, obviously, but it's also coffee beans and leaves. So it's just amazing the shapes that you can come up with. Anything from edge to edge all the way up to circular designs we're going to be doing in class.
And that's just one of your classes, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, I'm teaching Philharmonics. And this is a play on how music and quilting, I think, go hand in hand. So the picture on your left is half of the sew out that I did for the cover of the book. And it features 21 of the over 50 pretty much edge to edge and grid based designs that are featured in the book. The image on your right is just, I love this quilt. It features one of the circular designs in the middle, and then a grid-based design behind it. So again, over 50 different designs. Will we get through all 50 in class? Probably not, but we're going to make a run for it to make sure that you get a full class of designs.
Right.
So there's two other pictures I have of that. There you go. A full image, I guess one picture, and that is the full image of the 22 designs. So
That's
again,
gorgeous.
they're meant to mix and match. So you can do something like I've done and do a whole cloth, or they really go well on any quilt versus, you know, whether it's modern or traditional, they work.
Right. That's
so the
beautiful.
next class on Wednesday is called Fast and Fabulous. And this is a collection of little bits and pieces from all of my classes. But you'd think, well, then if I'm taking all 6 days of classes, and I really hope you do, why would I take this one? Because it would just be a repeat. No. In all of my classes, in addition to the content that's in the book, I offer unpublished designs as well. So Fast and Fabulous will not wreck that. And I have quite a few unpublished designs that I'm going to be sharing with you that are all fast and fabulous. So on Thursday, the class name is called One and Done. And this book was, the book is called Elemental Designs. And the reason why it's called Elemental Designs is I was thinking every book I have has a theme. And so what we just learned in Philharmonics, it's all sorts of background designs. The theme for this book, I put myself in this box. Wouldn't it be great if I could answer that age-old quilt as desired question and have almost like an image of a grocery store, and you're going down with your cart and you can say, well, I need a block, I need a this, I need a that, and you put it in your cart and instantly they all go together, and you have a mid to high custom look. So that is what then all you need is one base design and the rest happens. So what I have here is some indications of, oh, thank you. That helps a lot. So this is the only shape you would need to learn. Now there's 2 shapes that we'll be going through, but this will give you a feel for this class. So I think everybody could figure out that shape. But look what this shape does. See the same shape? But now I have a sashing design. Now I've got an edge to edge. How about grids? We got them. Same shape, very same shape. But look at how different 2 grids can be.
Wow.
But because they have a homogeneous base, they all go together. You wouldn't think that does, but it's the same shape. And then this is that sew out that I just showed you a picture of. Again, same shape. So it's kind of a hard one to describe, but hopefully that helped. And then on Friday, I'm doing sashing that sizzles. this class was born and book was born from my desire I had 2 sashings that I went and those are my go-tos. And throughout the years, I've talked to a lot of free motion quilters, and they go, "Yep, I got 2. If you want variety, which one you want, 1 or 2?" This actually was my first book, and I started to figure out, sashing is sexy. You can do so dang much with a linear design. And in books that followed, I make them into blocks and borders and circular designs, as we'll see in the next class. So it's, I think, very important that you have many more designs than just 2 to go with any quilt. So in this class, you'll get about 15, 20, 30 different sashing designs. So please consider coming to that class because it's a foundation for all sorts of other things that I do. Then the last class is 360-degree grids. These are sashing designs. And I know your first reaction, most of you are probably like, "Oh no, not in God's green earth am I ever going to, da-da-da-da-da." And wrong. These, Jillian, if you throw up that other picture, I'll show you just how easy. This is a very simple grid-based pattern where I have taken a sashing design and just put it in that small pie shape in the center of the circle, and it fits. And then I do the next pie shape and the next pie shape and the next pie shape. So yes, you're doing a circle, but you don't have to get all nervous about it. You're just repeating. And it's not, you don't have to freak out and say, "Oh, I can't do circles." You're just doing a wedge. You can do a wedge. So they look very complicated, but by the end of the day, you'll be way over all of your fears and will be able to execute this design and many more with ease.
Wow. Are there any special things someone would need to bring to class?
Yes. An open mind and a willingness to have some fun. Open mind is the old "I can't." Well, why are you taking a class? It's so that you can. And so drawing classes just make that all the easier because we're just focusing on drawing. We're not focusing on speed and control that comes along with practice on your machine. So I'm taking all the heartache out of it and just we're focusing purely on the designs.
So are they bringing a notebook or?
There's a very small list of things to bring. It's a pencil and your favorite pen. You get to choose which one you like to work with, and some paper, and I pretty much supply the rest. You get a boatload of handouts with a lot of the designs on it, plus your very own notebook if you were taking a class that has any linear designs.
Jenny K. Park says she's not very good at free motion. Where's the best place to start with your stuff?
Drawing. Yes. So any of my classes, even though they say they're intermediate, with an open mind and a willingness to learn, any of my classes, anybody can take any of my classes. And it makes no difference which machine you drive. They're all very easy to do on any machine. And again, that's why I love to work in, I switch off between domestic and mid-arm and long arm.
Could you, I know that there are probably some people that may be listening that don't understand what grid means. Could you explain that a little bit?
Thank you. Yes. A grid would be a pre-marked design on your fabric. And just like the name suggests, it's something to hang on. So going back to meandering used to be huge, and now it's kind of Neanderthal. That was my only joke I'm going to say today. But when you meander, it's like, oh, how do I fill the Montana sky and do it evenly? With grids, because you're working on a framework, everything is even and consistent. And I think working with grids makes free motion quilting a lot more fun.
Right. So that would be like a checkerboard, or like even the thing that's behind me. That's you just fill, and then you could fill in the spaces or use corners as marks and that sort of thing. Is
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And even the circular designs that I teach are all also grid-based designs.
Okay.
So again, leaving nothing to chance and everything to accomplishment.
Yes. Yes. That's good. Thank you. Because I'm sure that we hear that term a lot, but I'm not so sure that everybody quite understand. Especially when you get into circles, I say, well, how can that be a grid? Because
that's a technique that I've developed over the years. That was my second book based on I did the first book with linear designs, and one day I just figured out it's so easy to pivot a sashing design, and hence circles were born, and I've been doing them for 10-12 years since.
Yes. Well, you have taught at Rhode before, and I certainly enjoyed meeting you during those times, and we know that more students will be enjoying your classes this time as well as they did the last time you were at Rhode.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to again be on the faculty. It's quite an honor. And for those of you who are listening, if you still have questions after we log off, please contact me. You can contact me through my website, and the website is the same as my name, SueHines.com, and I'll answer you right back. And if needs, we'll get on the phone and FaceTime, whatever it takes to make you feel comfortable.
That's a terrific help, because sometimes students are a little hesitant, and it's nice to have somebody that's going to hold their hand just a little tiny bit. So
I'm good at that. I'm a mom.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it never goes away.
Nope. No, nor do we want it to.
Yeah. I'm really attracted to that quilt behind you.
Oh, this quilt is, it's kind of cobbler's shoes. It's not free motion quilted yet. But this is a quilt that I pieced during COVID. And I just loved the thought behind it, that during a pandemic, we are all a very small community. Even though we're worldwide, we're all together. And this quilt pattern just spoke to me, and I did it in very bright colors, very bright saturated colors, with a few cherrywoods thrown in, by the way.
Good.
So that it would cheer me up in the dark times, and also make me think this is not just me, it's everybody. So let's just all remain happy and hopeful for the time, when very soon we'll be able to get together as we all enjoy.
Yes. So that our happy neighborhood is even larger than just the street in front of us.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, we thank you so much for being our guest today, and I look forward to seeing you in January, if not before. And so, Libby, you have any other questions?
No, I think we're good. I'm going to go pop in your classroom.
Yay! Thank you. And I hope to see many more of you as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I guess that's a wrap for today. You and I can go and enjoy our humidity, and Matt can go and finish his meetings. I'm surprised it's not raining today. We've just had monsoon rains, and
from the hurricane.
Yeah, a little from leftover. I think they call it a sister storm. And we're building a front porch on our house with these. We have big holes in the front yard where we have what do they call those? The supports, the braces for the porch. They haven't been filled in yet because you sit around and wait for a week and a half for an inspector to come by and look in a hole. but those things are completely filled with water now. So yeah, so all we have to do is add the cement powder, I guess, and it'll be good to go. But next week we will have Gina Perks as one of our two guests, and she is known for her long arm quilting. She is one of our teachers, and we look forward to seeing her in 2 weeks. What, I don't know what the date is, but I'm sure that somebody in the back. Oh, the 16th. Oh, that's Matt wrote me a note and it said Gina Perks 16th guest. I thought, oh, is she really going to be was today the 15th?
This is what happens when you leave us alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we thank you all for being here, and hope to see you on the 16th. Yes, wash your hands, wear your masks, brush your teeth. I don't know, what was that, Linda?
Yeah, you can brush your teeth.
Yeah, wear a mask, whether you do or not.
Yeah, wear your mask and wash your hands so that we can get rid of this stupid thing.
Yes, so that we can see each other in person, especially in January, where I am happy to leave the snow and come to Southern California. So bye-bye. See you all in 2 weeks on the 16th. Bye.